Hello, this is Kelly Crossley with InfoScience. What I would like to do today is show you in detail a little bit about the SharePoint Online capability. So to begin with that, know that you're actually looking at a SharePoint Online public site as it's out of the box. One thing to note is I have in fact changed the title here, and I'll show you how to go out and do that. But to begin with, what I would like to do is show the administration capabilities within SharePoint Online, and I'll briefly go over those. So if you go to the admin section and select SharePoint Online, what you will initially see are all of the individual site collections. When I select a site collection, I have additional capabilities on the embedded ribbon here. I can create a new site collection, delete the current one, go out and look at the properties of that, and I'll do that real quickly here. And these site collection properties just outline things such as storage usage, the quota that's set up, and any individual addresses that are also set up there. I have the ability to go out and look at the individual owners and administrators. So if I say manage administrators here, this is for this specific site collection, and you can add those as well. I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel here. Go into sharing. This sharing actually allows you to bring people into the organization to access content. You can do either select don't allow external users, or allow both externals and anybody with an anonymous sharing access. We'll go ahead and cancel there. You also have the availability to see the individual storage quotas that are set up. You can buy additional storage. And you'll notice that this actually goes back to the Administration Center for Office 365 when it takes you there, because realize when you buy storage, you're doing it at a tenant level as opposed to within SharePoint Online itself. Discussing the OneDrive capabilities and its individual storage rules associated with that will be in a separate video that I'll have posted probably in a couple of weeks. I'm going to go back to the SharePoint Online site. Select a individual site and show you other information. I can go and upgrade, so I can look at the upgrade settings. Right now it's at its most current version. So realizing that Office 365 is a constantly updated system, they being Microsoft, rolls out information across various tenants as time progresses, and this will allow you actually to see which version you're dealing with here. I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel, and show you that you can see where you've got, renaming the website, adding in a domain, that kind of thing. I'm going to go and show you that you have access to InfoPath here, individual user profiles. So if I wanted to actually manage a user profile or set up organizational properties, or take a look at the My Site settings, you have all of that capability here, much like you would inside SharePoint on-premise. You also have the ability to utilize business connectivity services and manage external content types through BDC models. You can set up connections to online services that reference OData access, and you can connect to on-premise services. The term store will allow you to actually go out and set up specific term sets for you to use. For example, if you wanted to use those for managing navigation as an example, you could do that. And this is where you do that. You could go into records management, set up individual new connections there. Really what this comes down to is the records management is used predominantly for organizations that do a lot of document management solutions and Office 365, and that would be here. You could set up individual search capabilities, and you'll see that there's a lot of options here, and we'll cover all of the search individual capabilities in another video. Secure Store is the actual keys and passwords necessary to access target applications that you set up. If I was to say new here, what would come up is information about the individual target application, who the administrators are, the members of this individual group that are accessing that. And here with the credential fields, if I'm accessing a external application, these credential fields would allow me to answer questions such as username and passwords in order to log those kind of things on, or log into those systems rather. So that's what you're doing here. Um, you have the individual apps, which are basically off of an app catalog, things that are purchased or anything that is specific to your applications or your tenant, rather. Now, realizing that this is a cloud-based solution, you have the capability to bring in apps from third-party vendors as well, and you do that here by managing licenses and things such as that. And then we're looking here at lastly at the settings, such as what am I actually trying to do with regards to the SharePoint Online as a whole. So am I dealing with Yammer, working with that, going through the admin experience, dealing with social collaboration? Am I using IRM? That's another example, or how to actually set up Office on Demand, and that's what this is. So at a high level, what you're really looking at here is the Admin Center. And I'll go back to Site Collections and go back to the public website that I had out there. The easiest way to get there as an admin is just click on that and it will take me back to the home page for that site collection. So while this loads, it's going to go ahead and authenticate against who I am at the moment. And while this is being brought up, I'll note that there's also another video out there with regards to the Office 365 roadmap. And I'm going to go ahead and select this welcome page here and just go straight to the site. But that Office 365 roadmap is actually on the application infrastructure channel for InfoScience, so that you would be able to take a look at what that link is so that you could go there on your own, as well as look at certain things such as what's upcoming in Office 365. So speaking about SharePoint Online and its forward-facing site, that is the public site that I have here, as I mentioned earlier, this is really just a example site. I'm once again going to go to the administration side so you can see how I can actually jazz this up a little bit. I'm going to go to SharePoint. I'm sorry, not what I wanted. Go over to Site Settings. And the first thing I'm going to do is change the title, description, and logo. So you'll notice that I've got example SharePoint Online site. I'm going to actually change this to a fictitious company that I've called Wavecatcher Solutions. It's a consulting company. In fact, I'm going to just say the description is the same thing. I'm going to insert a logo from my local system. I'm going to hit Browse and go to my Wavecatcher Solutions logo. See if I can find it here. I know I have it. There we go. Just pick the medium. Say OK. And I'm going to just say OK here. And when you do that, you can see that it's actually here on the home, on the logo section, and my title is changed. So that's good, but I want a little bit more branding associated with that. And if I was to do that, how would I do that? I'll go to Site Settings again, go to Title, Description, and Logo. You'll see that those change, and I want to just change this one more time, put that S on the end of Wavecatcher Solutions. And I'm now going to go to change the look. Now this is a degree of theming involved. So you'll know I have a number of different choices here. Also at the bottom, it's not just 18. Note that I can go on to the next page. I have further options here, and in fact it goes into a third one a little bit as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just select one just to give you an idea as to what you can do. Let's go back to the second page. And I will pick, for the sake of example, ink, just to show you what it's looking like. Now you'll notice this little splotch that is out there as well as other things. I'm going to go ahead and change this background image. In fact, let's do this. I'll say change. And I'm going to again go to my local system and pick the background medium faded. Take a look at it here. And this is what it would look like. I'm going to go ahead and change some of the colors as well. Now these are the colors that you see as far as accent colors for the site. Let's say that I'm not a fan of the total black on white here, so I want a little bit of color. I'm going to change it to blue. I'm also going to change the site layout. So what I'm really talking about here is the master page within SharePoint. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see, which one do I like the best? How about Berlin? Let's go with Berlin. And I also have the availability to change the out-of-the-box format for fonts that I wanted to. So let's say I want to go to Century Gothic, and we'll do that. I have the option to take a look at it, which is a forced next step, so that you can review what your changes are. It's going to take a minute for this to come up. So when it does, what you will see is basically this is what the site's going to look at. So yeah, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes, keep this. And when I do that and hit the home page, you'll notice that those changes have been changed, made into what the site looks like now. You'll see that I had the background faded put in place. My format has changed. The links look a little bit differently, and I don't have that top navigation that I really wasn't interested in, as well as the search bars now on the bottom left. So one thing that I do want to change is, let's go ahead and just show you a little bit about adding these navigational links or modifying. You have the ability to actually go in and either hide them or show them. So I'm going to go ahead and here and hide these, give you an example of that, and hit save. And you'll know now just the homes page is showing up here. If I go back to edit links, just clicking on those again will actually show those pages. So navigation has gotten pretty easy to deal with from a ease of access perspective. Additionally, if I want to go in, excuse me, and change how the site looks, such as adding content, much like you do in the SharePoint on-premise version, you just go up to the page, hit edit, and what will come up is a page content window. Now I also have the ability to actually go in here and say I want to insert either an app part or web part or a number of different options like pictures, video and audio. I can import maps, that kind of thing. But I'm going to go ahead and just say I want to import a web part. This looks exactly like it does in the SharePoint on-premise version. In fact, taking one step further, I'm going to select media and content and put the standard content editor out there. So by doing this, I'm going to go ahead and say select new content and say welcome to Wave Catcher Solutions. And that's a little small to read, so I'm going to increase the size of that. There we go. As well as knowing that what you see here is content editor, that's actually the title of the web part. I'm going to go in and edit this web part and remove that information. Now there are two ways to do that. I can either completely wipe this out and hit space, and that'll actually mean that there is no title there, or I can go down here to the Chrome type and just say I don't want any Chrome. And once I do that, I hit OK. And you'll look and see that, all right, that looks fine. I'm going to go ahead and make my changes and actually save that. And once I save that, this is what it looks like. But because I'm actually in a public site, I have not published this. Nobody else could see this modification yet. To do that, I'll go ahead and hit publish. Actually, I'm going to edit this again because I have just saved it. And I'm going to go back here and hit save and publish. And when I do that, this is now available for everyone to see. So I want to keep this brief, and I hope that everybody enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and look forward to more.